Boop. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, October the 20th, 2020, and today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 63, verses 1 through 8, Numbers 12, 1 through 9, Revelation 18, 21 through 24, or you could have read Psalm 98, Daniel 3, 19 through 30, and then once again Revelation 18, 21 through 24, and I'm going to take a look at Numbers. So in the Old Testament, you have Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which all sort of cover the same story, but they do it with a little bit different voice each time. And Numbers, if you read Exodus and then read Numbers, you'll see there's a lot of similar parts of the story, but covered in different detail. And Numbers shows us a lot of the kind of infighting that went on in the camp when the people were traveling. And so that's where we are today. And it's about people talking smack. So that's just what people do, and people talk smack about each other. I'm sure you've had people talk trash and smack about you, and maybe it was justified, maybe it wasn't justified. But when you're the recipient of that, it always feels unjustified. Although part of living honestly is knowing when it's justified and when it's not. But today we're talking about something that wasn't justified. And that's the story is about Moses and some people talking smack about him. Moses was just a guy trying to do his job, right? And of course, his job was very unique. His job was basically A, to talk to God, and B, to lead the people based on what he had talked to God about. So his job was to lead all of Israel after God told him, like, this is what's happening, this is what you need to do, go do this now. As you can expect, that special relationship and that special role probably caused some jealousy among the other people in the camp, because it put him in a very special position, a special relationship to God, and a special relationship to everybody else. He really was the person that stood in between God and the rest of the nation, even more so than, in a very unique way, than Aaron did as the chief priest. So like I said, you can expect that caused some jealousy, and jealous people talk smack because that's what jealous people do. It's like the old saying, haters gonna hate. But it's really bad when it's your own family, and that's what's going on here today. Moses' biggest challenge came from his own brother and sister, Miriam and Aaron. And they even went after after Moses' wife, in order to justify their jealousy in this situation, because, after all, he had married a Cushite woman. So they take that as a veil for their jealousy, but what they're mad about him with has nothing really to do with his wife, but it has everything to do with the fact that he's in charge and they're not. They have a lot of power and authority in the camp. They have a voice, and they say that. They said, is Moses the only one the Lord speaks to? Has not the Lord also, spoken to us, spoken through us? And to a degree, yeah, he had. But they were kind of really saying that Moses isn't any more special than we should have as much authority as Moses, and they started talking smack about him. The only way they could think to really get to him was to trash his family, trash his wife. I'm sure they probably said things about his kids in there somewhere too. But that's the thing. The worst smack came from his own family. We're told that Moses was a very humble man. Matter of fact, this verse 3 says, "Now the man Moses was very humble, more so than anyone else on the face of the earth." And Numbers is trying to get us to understand that, I guess, that he wasn't really going to confront them on this, that maybe he had some insecurities of his own, and he thought, well, maybe they are justified in this. Maybe I really am not. Maybe I'm just a poser, and I really shouldn't have this unique position and relationship. But the author of Numbers also gives us this. He says, and the Lord heard it. So the Lord heard it. It doesn't end up going well for Aaron and Miriam. Moses was a humble man, like I said, perhaps too humble to confront them, but the Lord heard them, and the Lord fought for Moses. That's what happens in the next little portion of this. He calls them to them, and he says, hey, y'all come out of the camp and come to the tent of meeting, which, if you've read prior to this, you realize that the tent of meeting was only Moses' venue, that God had said, Moses, you can come here, no one else. You come and meet with me. And so they get summoned out to the tent of meeting. I'm not sure if they would have been scared about that or they thought this was awesome because now they were going to get acknowledged for the special people they were. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work that way, and I suggest you go on and read the rest of the chapter. That does say something, too, to us. Sometimes when people talk smack about us, we feel like we need to get all riled up and that we need to go to war. It's a really hard thing not to do. But we should probably, if we really think that their smack is unjustified and that they're just succumbing to their own petty jealousies and narcissism, or however you want to say it, their own hubris, there's a good word for you to learn. Maybe we should learn to be more like Moses, a little bit more humble, realize that we may not have, and we probably don't have all the answers, and we probably do mess things up, and then just leave it up to the Lord, because the Lord heard it too. Well, that's the DBR for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Get out, have a good afternoon, good evening, and we'll see you later. Boop.